And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast. It's a majors week. It is the 2025 U.S. Open at Oakmont. So we're going to get you ready for that and much, much more. But first off, you can find me on Twitter at BDNtrick, the podcast at always press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Guys. Jesse, how we doing, my friend?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. It's just another wonderful day in the life. So we're getting it in, and I've listened to so much content the last 2 days that it's going to be repetitive today is what I'm thinking, unfortunately. But it's all find the fairway and pray that you can scramble is what it pretty much goes down to at this place.
Yeah. I agree.
So we'll see how that goes. But for those keeping track at home, Sam Burns lost in a playoff at the Canadian Open. And to Ryan Fox's second win in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is ridiculous.
Insane.
Didn't see that one coming on a bingo card. Rory McIlroy looking horrific out there on a golf course. Flat out said his motivation's not there. Like, if you're RBC and gave him that much money to come up there, probably not too pumped to hear that.
Right. Yeah,
pretty good stuff there. But that's our Canadian Open recap for you, as it was. There was a lot of negativity about where that golf course was to begin with, and still some negativity after the fact. So we'll see where that one goes in the future, because there's been some good courses they've used lately. That one wasn't quite it, folks. All right, let's talk about the U.S. Open, though. It is the next major here, the third major of the year. We saw the Open Championship, the British Open, coming up here later this year in Ireland, which should be a doozy as usual. But this year, Jesse, we head to Pennsylvania, to Oakmont, a place we haven't played since 2016. So what do you have for some past event history for the U.S. Open?
Yeah, obviously the ones that matter is DJ won at this golf course in 2016. He was 4 under. He won by 3 shots over Furyk, Lowry, and Piercy. The time before that was 2007, where they actually played this at Oakmont. The winning score was +5 by Angel Cabrera, who's just been lighting the world on fire more recently. He has 3 double eagles this year.
He's nuts. He's winning everything on the senior tour because, why not? Let's go spend. Maybe I should just go spend some time in prison. My golf game will improve. It's wild.
Buddy, it is crazy. 1 shot over Jim Furyk and Tiger Woods that year. More recently, Bryson won the 2024 U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Wyndham Clark won the 2023 U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club. Matt Fitzpatrick won the 2022 U.S. Open at the Country Club. John Rahm won the 2021 at Torrey Pines. Bryson won in 2020 at Winged Foot. And the best score out of those was 10 under by Wyndham Clark at LA Country Club. I don't think anybody's going to get 10 under this week, though.
No, this is pure carnage, the U.S. Open.
Have you heard how hard it is?
I was reading Michael. See, this is where Michael Kim is just one of the best follows on Twitter. So I was, but to your point, I see you're chuckling out. Yes, I've heard it is insanely challenging, Jesse, and people are pissed that it's been raining because, oh, God forbid, the course plays a little soft. But yes, to your point, now I get what you're saying. But yes, Michael Kim, he actually gave some interesting thoughts on it after his practice round on Monday. Apparently, Rory played a practice round, birdied the last 2 holes, still shot an 81. So take with that whatever you wish in there. But Michael Kim basically telling you, the rough's, it's tricky. But did you see the Hatton rough video?
Yes.
Dude, that's why I love the man. That's why I just love him. He chuckles. He's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, if it was in a round, probably a different reaction.
Yeah, he's not going to be laughing. But yeah, I know.
But it was funny. It was that's good. That's good stuff. But yeah, Kim was talking about the fairways. Find the fairways. You're obviously much better off. Duh. But the greens, people are talking about how large these greens are, and the slopes of the greens, and all these factors, and the just the runoffs, all these false fronts and all that stuff. And he said that's where it's at. You got to be able to get on there. And he also mentioned the flat sections of the green. If you have a flat pitch, which he flat out said doesn't happen very often, but if you do, it's pretty easy green, nothing crazy. It's those slopes. He said it's like putting a marble down a hill, and you just gotta to pray things sick. So I guess that'll take me into the course preview of Oakmont Country Club. It's a par 70, 7,372 yards. We do have 156 players in this field, T60 and ties. Make it to the weekend, so keep that in mind. But it's in Pennsylvania. It's a Haas design. It's been renovated. You mentioned that the 2 previous go-rounds there, when it was firm and fast +5, when it was kind of softer due to rain, -5, still not a great scoring environment, all things considered, because it is about the thickness of the rough. You have to find the fairways. You have to be creative with your approach game. The false fronts will just destroy some people. So there's kind of a mixed bag there. But the rough, they've already been mowing it, and that was the one thing. I think it was Kim or it was Hatton or somebody put it out there that yes, it's very thick rough, but sometimes the thickness lets you actually get good lies, which surprises some. So it'll be kind of hit and miss in that regard. But the bottom line, like I can give you every metric of this golf course. There's almost 170 bunkers. There's the church pew bunkers everyone talks about on holes 3 and 4. There's bunkers all over the golf course, basically. There's a freeway that goes through the course, which is pretty hilarious to me. Like I saw pictures of that. That is insane for a major golf course, but here we are. It's just the bottom line is, and they're POA greens, but they're like Northeast POA, because I play POA out here. Totally different type of POA. So keep that in mind. Think like Boston CC and some of those late season events that they don't play nearly enough up there. We talk about that on this show. But basically what I'd be looking at is your guy has to find the fairway. The greens have sub-air systems, so even if it rains, the fairways might be soft. The greens will still be firm and fast. So you're still throwing a ping pong ball up there, and it's bouncing around. If you're in the grass and it's wet, it might be harder to get out. That's something to think about as well. So fairways, approach game. Now, if your guy is wayward, then you want your approach game to be like, how good's their wedge game? Because they're going to hit it out and then have like 100 yards in theory, more often than not, because it's not a long golf course. But yeah, I'll stop talking there. It's pretty simple. Find the fairways, bogey avoidance. You might find yourself in the weekend, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's driving. I think driving distance is going to be a major key factor this week, because even if you hit it, I mean, it's like bomb and gouge type of stuff that we've talked about in years past at other golf courses. Wingfoot comes to mind as one where Bryson won, and obviously other U.S. Open venues where they try to make it the grass. Like this rough, though, does look like no rough I've ever seen on a golf course. I've watched a lot of YouTube content over the last few weeks, because I thought it was really cool that they brought a lot of content creators out there and let them play and film. And it gives you a completely different perspective of the golf course from what you're usually seeing with, in towers or, professional video. I mean, they're professionals too, but long story short, you get to see some different angles. And obviously too, some of them just are flat out terrible. So you get to see where, if you hit it really badly, like you're going to be in really bad spots. With all that being said, like, I don't know, for me, it's just like, I want the guys who hit it long. You're going to miss fairways. It's like, there's a lot of blind shots on this golf course. If you go back and look at the history of Oakmont, it was built a long time ago, and they didn't hardly move any dirt. They just built the golf course over what it was, which I think is awesome, because it gives you different, like really severe slopes on, in fairways. And then of course they got a lot of bunkers like you talked about. So the key factor for me though this week is just driving distance. I want guys who can hit it far, and if we're chipping out, that's fine, but at least they're further down the fairway than the short knockers who are also missing the fairway. So
that's true. If they're missing the fairway, please be far down the fairway to miss. I'm with you 100% on that. And I'm glad you mentioned the blind shots. That was one of the, I didn't even forgot to mention, that was one of the biggest takeaways Michael Kim had playing his practice round. He's like, there's a ton of blind shots. He's like, I need to go do a lot more in the next 2 days to like get comfortable with these blind shots.
I mean, so, number one is a great example. You cannot see the green really until you get close to the green, like within like 100 yards of the green. So yeah, it's different kind of golf, and I cannot wait to hear the bitching.
Yes. Real question for you. How big of a fan of you are you of the carnage, I guess?
I mean, I like to see, we get this 3 or 4 times a year, maybe, if we're lucky. Sometimes the Open Championship plays tough. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the U.S. Open isn't as tough as we want it. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the carnage. I just want to see I want to see even or worse win this golf tournament.
Yeah, I want par to be a good score. I'm 1,000% on board with that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, we've taken it too far. We've jumped the ship. Like Phil Mickelson or Zach Johnson after one round. Phil Mickelson's going to get his putt. Like we've seen some examples where things are a little freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it when I see guys hit quality golf shots out of a fairway and it still can't stand on the green.
Yeah,
Like,
I know
that's
what
too
you're
much
saying
for me.
there.
Yeah.
I definitely know what you're saying there. But at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, if you don't know that that's going to happen, then I get it. But part
We're
of golf
expecting it this week.
is strategy, man. I mean, you just got to play away from some pins, and like there will be a lot of golf shots played away from pins
100%.
this weekend.
Yeah, there'll be a ton of shots that you're like, what are they doing? But it allows them to 2-putt, save par, and walk away.
Right.
Is what they're looking for, like to your
Yeah.
point. So I like it. I'm with you. There's just certain times where I'm like, okay, did we jump the shark on this one? We will see. We'll see on when all things are said and done. But yeah, if the winning score is anywhere between like +3 and -3, I think it's a very fun week of golf.
I don't think they have to bake out these greens like they do some places
they won't.
in order for it to be a really, really tough test. So it'll be interesting to see what some of the comments. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be really brutal test of golf, and like probably if I were to play it, would want to quit golf before it was over with. But
I might play from the ladies' tees, and I still probably wouldn't break 100 by the looks of things. So
even if you hit the fairways, man, it's not an easy second shot on a lot of holes. And then, you know, add in a 300-yard par 3.
I was just about to ask you. Now that's where I'm like, now we've taken it too far. Like, what's your? Like, it's a 289-yard par 3.
Yeah,
it was into the wind on Monday, so they're hitting drivers, and some weren't even getting it to the green. Like, that's a bit much to me.
Yeah, I could see that, but I do think that they will take into account where the wind's coming from, and it may not play 289 into the wind during the golf tournament.
That's a bit much. That's like doubles a good score at that point in time. Like, let's figure it out.
We'll see. Maybe they do, and then, you know, like you said, you just play it as a par 4.
The one guy that birdies it, Rick, and gets like wins the whole week basically. But all right, well, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just like always thinking, okay, you see so many videos and they're playing 16 on the stimp and all this. I'm like, okay, do we have to get that insane? But time will tell. Time will tell, indeed. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the DK picks of the week. We have a $5,000 range, which is great because, again, 156 golfers. The U.S. Open qualifiers took place, so some of these guys on paper, not great. So that's why they're down there. We also have a $14,400 Scotty Scheffler, who ranks first in my model, Jesse. So we'll start there. Are you paying $14,400? Because, yes, there's a $5,000 range. It's not an appetizing $5,000 range to look at.
Yeah, it's steep. I mean, it's hard not to like Scotty. The odds, the odds on DraftKings or anywhere else are just ridiculously low, especially for a place like this where, you know, it's not as predictable as like the Masters. So yeah, that's a little bit insane. I wouldn't blame somebody if they did. He's number one in my model as well. I mean, I think there's good reason why Scotty Scheffler is number one in both of our models. He's playing the best golf in the world at the moment. I mean, arguably versus like Joaquin Niemann. But yeah, I don't know that I will pay up for him. I've not gotten into like actually making lineups and seeing how comfortable that is. Because when you add him in, you're left with 7,100 per. You know, I think that's probably doable. But
it's doable for sure.
My favorite plays in the next range, so it's pretty simple for me what to do this week.
Yeah, I'm curious which one it is. So let's take that next range. You got Rory McIlroy at 12.4, Bryson DeChambeau at 11,000, Xander at 10.4, John Rahm at 10.2. I really like a couple of these guys. I'm curious if it's yours as well. So who is your favorite play in this range?
Bryson. Yeah, it's Bryson. I may be overthinking a little bit, or underthinking, but I don't know. U.S. Open golf to me sets up well for Bryson because he does have a good short game, even though his wedge is as long as his 4-iron. But he just hits it so far, and he can hit it very straight when he's on. Obviously, if he's wayward and like he's not hitting any fairways, he's gonna have a really tough time. But he also put out a video where he played this place and didn't play particularly well. And I'm not saying it's going to be exact same conditions, but you know, that's to me tells me a lot. You know, when Rory shoots 81 out there, like he did switch his driver. Rory did. I don't know if you saw that today. He switched from the QI 35 to the QI 10.
He switched last week too, and it didn't work out. So
he did not. He switched it last week.
He switched last week also. He's been in between drivers since he won the Masters.
I just can't trust him right now. Second for me would be John Rahm. He did play here in 2016, finished 23rd. And I don't know if you saw, but like has finished inside the top 10 in all live events this year.
21 for 21, folks. It's pretty impressive. But
did you see that?
Did you see his comments on it?
I read a little bit. Did you see that guy's tweet though, where he was like, "Yeah, I take a geriatric, a nursing home bowling every week and finish in the top three.
Top three every time." That's good. That's good. It's wrong, but it's good. No, real quick, I'll let you get back. But he's the one good thing. Well, it's great to have these live guys play in these events versus PGA players, but you also get them to interview. And Rahm's never been a guy to hide his thoughts on things, which I appreciate with him.
For sure.
And so, like, they were asking him questions about, so what are your thoughts on, the top 21? He's like, well, let me tell you this much. It's still just as hard to win on live as it is on the PGA. Any golf tournament's tough to win, period. He's all, but if I was on the PGA Tour, I'd be probably top 30 for 21 straight events. Top 10 is a lot easier over there. He flat out said it out loud. He said the quiet thing out loud, which I'm like, he's not wrong, but yeah, he said it.
He's not lying at all. But yeah, Rahm was like, I'm pretty much done there. Just to mention the top 10s, because I mean, what else do you talk about with this live stuff? I don't know. He finished 8th last week, 8th at the PGA Championship, 7th over in Korea. I mean, there's no comparison on the golf courses they've been playing. I guess that Virginia golf course, I watched a fraction of a second of it, and it did have some deep rough. But yeah, but those are the two guys that I like the most. Besides Scotty Scheffler above 10K.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Everyone wants Bryson to win. He's actually, looking at early ownership, he's actually less than Scotty, which is interesting, but he's the highest in this range, and Rahm is the second highest, and we're both on those guys. So that's always a good feeling. But I'm with you. Like, these are two guys that can pound the rock. They can find fairways. They can grind. Like, to your point with Bryson playing there and not playing well, his creativity is he's going to go back to the lab and go, okay, where can I miss? Where can I do this? Like, so on and so forth down the list. And I'm not saying other guys can do it, but that's something that makes Bryson special. That's why he's built for these kind of events where par's a good score, because he knows where he can kind of do different things to maybe gain a stroke here or save a stroke here and stuff like that. And he like plans accordingly for that. Like, that's written down in his books, basically, which is, I think, a very important factor. So I'm with you on Bryson. And then Rahm, it's like he feels like he's so close to just busting through another one. You mentioned the PGA Championship success. You mentioned the live success. He's just on the cusp of doing it. Will he do it this week? Who knows? But in a setup like this, he sets up very well. Let's put it that way. So I'm with you on that. Like Xander, I still don't know if he's back yet. And that's why I'll hold off in that price range.
Rahm was in the mix, too, for a minute at the PGA Championship. You got to remember that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
he's close. He's real close.
Yeah.
9K range. You got Morikawa at 98, Ludwig 96, Cantlay 93, JT 9,000. It's funny, only 4 guys in this range. We have 156 golfers, but I digress. Do you like anybody in this range?
Cantlay is like, I just kind of force myself to click on him, just because like he doesn't get rattled usually. Not terrible coming in 12th at the Memorial. He did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but 4th Truist, 13th Heritage, 36 Masters. So I mean, he's playing some solid golf coming into this, and he's the kind of guy who I don't think will get too high or too low. And that's kind of what you need in this type of event.
Yeah, I was looking at Cantlay. I agree with what you're saying. He's 18th in my model. I haven't clicked the button on him just yet, but I get it. And I don't have anybody start in this region. I really don't. Like, Morikawa ranks out 8th. He's 6th in fairways game, but his driving distance is 118. His approach game's not bad. His around the green game's horrific. Like, I'm so torn on Morikawa, and he just can't close. Like, if he wins this week, I'll be thoroughly shocked. Like, kudos to him. He hasn't closed since Harding Park, it feels like. So, at least in a tough event. So, I'm out on Morikawa. So, Cantlay probably be the only guy for me as well. I just haven't clicked anybody in this range. 8K range, you got Fleetwood at 88, Neiman at 86, Vic at 85, Brooks at 82, Hideki at 8,000. Another small range here. Jesse, who do you like?
Fleetwood, just because he does tend to do well on golf courses that par is a good score, and he can just backdoor top 10. At least he has in the past. So I like him. And then Neiman, I mean, it's hard to argue with his success as far as, his wins over on live. He hasn't had as much success in the majors, but he did finish 8th at the PGA Championship. So he is coming in really good form for what he is, so for where he's been playing. Live Golf Virginia 1st, and then PGA Championship 8th. So those are the two guys that I would like that I would target in this range. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's only 6, 5. It's very strange, very odd pricing here.
It's very, very odd pricing. A lot of guys download them. Like, it's almost telling you, okay, go take a chance on Scotty, mix it up, see what you can do.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like built for that, where it's like, maybe if I skip the top, we could fit some more guys in that might make the cut and make a run potentially. Like, it's a weird build mindset, basically.
Right.
I like Fleetwood at 88. He's 4th in my model. He's 17th in fairway gained. He's 5th around the green, which is obviously very important. His approach game's on point. So like Fleet's quite a bit, and you don't have to like pay a premium to get him. 88. Okay, we're in. We've seen him play well at U.S. Opens in the past as well, so something to think about. I'm with you on Neiman. Dude just keeps winning. It's insane. Like, the dude, he's a beast. Played better in his last major, which was a very good sign. So, like both of them. Other than that, I just can't trust Vic. Maybe I'll be wrong. Brooks is always a wild card, and Hideki has just been, he's about a wild card right about now as well. So it's pretty much Fleetwood and Neiman for me in this range also. 7K range, we're just going to group it all together here, Jesse. Shane Lowry at 78, Sepp at 77, Tyrell Hatton at 76, Spieth down to 75, Russell Henley at 74, Keegan at 74, Finau, Connors at 73, Cam Smith, forgot all about him, and Ben Griffin at 72, Minwoo, Burns, Fitzpatrick at 71, and then Sungjae and Wyndham Clark at 7,000. Who do you like in this range?
Shane Lowry. I mentioned him. He finished second here in 2016. Got off a 13th place finish last week, 23rd at the Memorial. Did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but was second to the Truist before that. So playing solid golf. Sepp. I mean, he has won twice this year. Third at the Memorials last time out. Did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but the dude, I feel like he's just a prototypical long and straight driver. Hits it definitely far enough. And then ball striking, his irons are always on point. It's always the putter that is more unpredictable for him. So I like Sepp this week. Keegan, just feel like he's got the motivation with the Ryder Cup coming up, but obviously too, he's coming off of 2 straight top 10s in the Memorial PGA Championship, both really, really strong fields there. Corey Connors, just a dude who will make a shit ton of pars in any golf course. So why not at this one? And then Ben Griffin, he had some interesting comments this week, but he's second at the Memorial, first at the Charles Schwab, 8th PGA Championship. So 3 straight top 10s, 2 straight top 2s with a win. I mean, hard to argue with that form. He's probably not as long as we would like, but he's been hitting it pretty far. 315 off the tee at the PGA Championship, so that'll get it done. So yeah, Ben, I mean, just the current form, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, his form has been insane. So I've been checked off as well. He's 24th. My model, he's not great at hitting the fairways, 115, but to your point earlier, 22nd in this field in driving distance. That's the point he's made over and over again. The distance continues to grow for him. He's 9th in bogey avoidance, which is great. He's 3rd in strokes gained total, which obviously if you're finishing the way he is, that checks out. We're on the same plays, basically. Corey Connors, 2nd in my model. He's 4th at finding the fairway. He's 2nd from 150 to 175, which is a lot of approaches. He's 8th in bogey avoidance. So, if he's finding the fairways and he's 12th in approach, that's usually going to be a recipe for success. So I like Corey Connors quite a bit. Keegan's 5th in my model. He's first from 125 to 150, so you have that short wedge game. He's 9th around the green. He's just 10th overall in approach, which is great. So I like Keegan a ton. And to your point with the Ryder Cup, like his game's really, this is a great test to see where that's at. Russell Henley's interesting because he has no driving distance. He's 153rd in this field out of 156, but he's also 14th in finding the fairways. So if he finds the fairways, which is elite, with his elite approach game, then it could be a no big deal. Now, if he's not right at the fairways, that's a long day at the office for Russell Henley. He's 12th in my model, so he's on the board, but we'll see where that lands. And then I love these guys up top here. Tyrell Hatton at 16th in my model at 76. I play him all the time whenever I can, period, because it's a grinded out golf course. It'll be pure entertainment value because there will be over under 9.5 4-letter words thrown out there per round based on what took place on that golf course. And he's just a grinder that these kind of tournaments where you don't need a ton, like you don't need to be 15, 16 under. Hatton's going to grind his butt off. Now things can happen, but I like him a lot. Sepp, 3rd of my model, 10th in finding fairways, 2nd in approach in this field. Another great guy, great form. I'll go there. And I love Shane Lowry for basically every reason I like Hatton. Lowry's 6th in my model. He's third in approach in this field. He finds fairways. He avoids bogeys. He's 14th in bogey avoidance. One thing we've always said about Lowry, and you mentioned his finish here in the past, is if it's not a birdie fest, Lowry can hang with pretty much anybody. Like he'll be there in the end, barring a massive blow up, which can easily happen at the U.S. Open. But like, I love this. Like Lowry, Straka, Hatton, I could go to battle with all three of them in my lineup and feel pretty happy about it, just for fun to see if I'm alone. Hatton's projected for 11%, Sepp at 18, and Lowry at 18. So Hatton's the low man on the poll. But yeah, very, very strong plays on paper is what I'll say, because the U.S. Open doesn't care about paper. All right, 6K range, big range, not naming them all. Jesse, what do you like here?
A lot of names here, though. I mean,
yeah.
I've got a few here. Ryan Fox, I mean, $6,800. I'm seeing him projected for not very much ownership, which blows my mind. I mean, I know he's won at the Myrtle Beach Classic and the Canadian Open, and they're not really tough places. But at the Memorial, he finished 20th. PGA Championship, he finished 28th. So it's not like, he's not fared well at other places, especially tough places like the Memorial and the PGA Championship. So I think Ryan Fox is 100% playable. He bombs it. Harris English, he finished 37th here in 2016, coming off a 12th place finish at the Memorial Tournament. So I do like him. And then I got two more. Nergard Peterson at 6,400. Back-to-back missed cuts for him, but was playing really solid golf before that. So just kind of a bit of a flyer there that nobody should be playing. So if you want, obviously a flyer there. And then Thorbjorn Olsen at 6,000. 36, 46, 33rd in his last three starts. 33rd at the PGA Championship there. So playing some solid golf coming in. Hasn't missed a cut since the Houston Open way back in at the end of March. So, yeah, that's where I'm at in this range.
Yeah, for me, I can't decide just yet, but I really want to go to battle with Siwoo Kim, which is always a terrifying predicament. But dude's 13th in my model. He's 12th at finding fairways. Doesn't got a lot of distance. 12th finding fairways. He's second in this field in bogey avoidance, which might seem very hard to understand when it comes to Siwoo Kim. He just does a lot of the little things right, which gets me interested at $1,600. Love P. Reed. We know he can grind his butt off. We know he can cheat in the rough. He's got all those things going for him. He's seventh around the green. He's 12 stroke gain total. Obviously, these stats only come from majors, but he's contended in these majors, and he keeps contending on live. $6,900 almost feels too cheap for Patrick Reed, weirdly enough. Daniel Berger at $6,800. He's ninth in my model. He's ninth in finding fairways. He's 12th from 150 to 175. He's eighth in the field in approach overall, eighth off the tee. So don't mind Berger. Harris English I like a lot. He's 32nd in my model, but it's one of those driving distance. Weirdly enough, only 106, but he's 30th in finding fairways. He's 11th in bogey avoidance. There's not a lot of comp courses to Oakmont, but if you think like the skill set needed to win at Torrey Pines, when there's rough like that, you got to find the fairways and have a good approach game. He won at Torrey. Like he's locked in of late, playing some really good golf. So Harris English at 67, I'm with you on that. If I trust my model, JT Poston is 35th in the model at $6,600. He's eighth at finding fairways, but his driving distance is almost as bad as Russell Henley. So take your grain of salt there. Aaron Rai is going to be chalkier than chalky. He is 10th in my model, $6,400. He's first in finding fairways in this field with a great approach game. That's why he pretty much, comes into play in every show we do, Jesse. It's just like, okay, he hits fairways. His approach game is good. Can he put it all together for an entire week? That's the question. But he's only projected to be 9%, which is always interesting. Andrew Novak at $6,300. He's 31st in my model. His wedge game is 9th in this field, which is good. He's like 49th at fairways game, which isn't horrible. He's 34th in the approach. Like at the price point, does a little bit of everything. Coming in and playing great golf. So I'm there. Same with Nick Taylor. He's 34th in my model. He's 21st in finding fairways. He's a guy we've seen grinded out before. Lucas Glover at 62 I'm in on. And then a couple more here. I have three more checked off. Bud Cauley at 6,100. He's 20th in my model. 5th in the field in approach. 40th in fairways. 12th in bogey avoidance at $6,100. That's three very important traits you're looking for. Same with Ryan Gerard. He's 15th in my model. He's 8th around the green. He's 29th in fairways. His off the tee game is pretty solid. Like Cauley's probably safer on theory. Gerard might be a little more GPP play. then last but not least, Richard Bland at $6,000. He's 26th in my model. He's third in this field in fairways gained. He's playing great in live. He's playing great on the senior tour when he gets a chance. At $6,000, like I don't see how Richard, I can see how he misses the cut. Let me rephrase that. I could also see a world where all of a sudden he finishes the weekend 3 over for like a T20. Like I wouldn't be shocked at all with Mr. Bland doing that. So I'll go out there with that. What do you like in the 5K range?
Let's see here. Start with Jordan L. Smith at 8,500. He finished fourth his last start, which was a couple weeks ago on the European Tour. So all these are European Tour starts, but 4th, 7th, and 2nd in his last 3 starts. Hubbard at 5,600, made 4 straight cuts, a couple top 10s in there. Nothing as big of a field or as good of a field or as tough as this is, but Hubbard at 5,600, I think is playable. Matthew Jordan at 5,600, 9th in his last start, which another European Tour player here, DP World Tour, whatever you want to call it.
Team Euro down the board. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. The stats are pretty good for these guys. So they're high up the model. Frederick Lacroix, 5,500. Another European Tour guy, just kind of going along. Chris Goddard up at 5,400. He missed his last cut, but was playing pretty well before that, in between a bunch of missed cuts. And that's it.
All right, for me, I have Vic Perez, another hero, on the border. 65th in my model, 16th in finding fairways, 21st in approach. Like we've seen him go off the rails, but we also have seen him go very low in some good events. So GPP only, obviously, for most of these guys. Emiliano Grillo is $5,700, and he's 11th in my model. His around the green game is horrible, but he's 6th from 125 to 150. He's 23rd from 150 to 175. He's 11th in fairways gained. Somehow Emiliano Grillo is 18th in bogey avoidance. He just checks a lot of really nice boxes at $5,700. So interesting there. Matthew McCarty is 19th in my model, similar to Grillo. He doesn't drive it far, but 20th in fairways. He's middle of the packet approach. Bogey avoidance, he's 39th. Like he just little bit of this, little bit of that at $5,700. I like the Hubbard call because he's a good GPP. We've seen him play really good, really bad in the Open. So I think that's interesting. Zach Blair at $5,500. He's 15th in fairways gained. A lot of other stats aren't great, but he has played well at Oakmont in the past. Like he's talked about it, not just in the U.S. Open, but in amateur events. Like he likes this golf course. It's not super long, but he's a super accurate driver of the golf ball, which will keep him in the mix. So Blair at 5,500 is interesting. Justin Lauer is the guy I just continue to play, even though I know he had that really good run earlier in the season. It's dropped off quite a bit, but $5,500, still 60th in my model. He's 18th at finding fairways. His approach game's pretty good. The around the green is tricky, and that's where you have to see which Lauer shows up. But that's a few for me. I like your picks probably more so, but it's a very tough range. I would like to not be in the 5K range, but stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's recap things. Favorite play from 10-2 to 12-4. Bryson, right?
Yeah, Bryson.
Okay, I'll take John Rahm, but I think Bryce would be my play as well. 9K range. I have nobody checked off. So who do you like?
Cantlay.
8K range.
I'll say Fleetwood.
I'll say Neiman then. Yes. Now this is where it gets good. You can go 2 in the 7K range.
I'll say Keegan and Sepp.
I'll say Hatton and Lowry. So there we go. 2 in the 6K range.
Fox and English.
I'm gonna go with Siwoo Kim, which is freaking ridiculous. And I'm gonna say English also. Like I really like English, and we might be going down with the ship on that one. I guess to be different, I'll say Novak. I think Novak's pretty good at 63. 5K range.
Jordan L. Smith.
I will go with. I guess I'll trust the thing. Emiliano Grillo, which is wild to think about. All right. If I don't even condone cash this week. Do you want to play cash, Jesse?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you could. I think it's
with the pricing, you definitely can.
Easy week to do it. You're going to be duped probably quite a bit, but you can start Lowry, Straka, Fleetwood, and go from there.
Yeah, I go Lowry, Fleetwood, Hatton. That's where I'd pretty much start. Maybe throw P. Reed, and it would be the most basic lineup ever. So see how it finishes. But yeah, you can definitely do it. I don't like it, but you can do it. But GPPs, this is where it's at. Roll the dice. You can get the best stats from any model you want. It don't mean crap when they find the rough in their first 4 drives. So it's not as bad as TPC Sawgrass when they found the water before I wake up. But this is going to be similar. So where do you start your GPP lineups?
I got Bryson, Sepp, and Ryan Fox.
I'm going to go with I'll go with Rom just to be different. I'll go with Rom. Give me give me Rom, Ben Griffin, and Harris English on that one. All right, who you got winning this thing?
I placed one bet, and it's with Bryson.
What'd you get at that?
Well, whenever I bet it, it was 9-1, and then I parlayed it with the Thunder to win the NBA championship, so it got it up to like almost 11-1. It's not great, but I rebet it again today at 7.5.
Yeah,
do what?
Better than 7. It's better than 7.5 you have now. So
yeah, well, DK had a boost 18%, so I got it at 8.8.
Gotcha. Nice.
But they capped it at 25. So at this point, I've got $75 on Bryson to win it for about 800 and something. But yeah, close to 800, a little over 800.
It's crazy to see a U.S. Open have 2 guys less than 10-1.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just makes things like so ridiculous. I mean, obviously, it kind of helps the back end, but it's hard for me to see anybody besides Scheffler, Bryson. I'd throw Rahm in there. I mean, I could see Xander or Morikawa winning just because they've done it in the past, but like then you start dropping way off after that.
Yeah, it's pretty dicey. The top 20 market's even concerning for me, but you can make some noise like Patrick Reed at plus 230. It's plus 115 to top 30 if you want to mix it up there. It's crazy how Brooks is so much lower. Brooks is down the odds boards, even though he's higher up on DK. So that's interesting looks on that. Yeah, it's a tough world out there if you want to grind it out in these. God, I'm just looking at prices. This is horrible.
It's probably not a bad one like every week, just about to wait and see what happens after the first
see what
round.
happens on Thursday and pick your poisons from there because it's a rough board to say the least.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, Jesse, final thoughts. We have our 3rd major of the year coming up Thursday morning. Gonna be a doozy.
Yep. I don't necessarily, but it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a great week, so I'm excited to watch it.
Yep. It'll be really, really fun. Looking forward to it indeed. We have the U.S. Open this week. I'm pulling up. Why did it put me? We got the Travelers next week, which is another elevated event at TPC River Highlands. So that'll be good as well. So we'll get to see this a lot of the same golfers next week in a much different setting. So hopefully the Carnage. I hope the Carnage is good, but I still want the big boys to be there in the end. I want that entertaining Sunday afternoon to enjoy.
Yeah, so, I mean, even if it's not, I mean, as long as we have a good golf tournament, that's all that truly matters. Exactly. That it comes down to the final few holes, hopefully.
With you there for sure. So we'll see how it goes. We'll be back with you guys next week, talking Travelers and recapping the U.S. Open and much, much more. But until next time, check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I am at BDandrick. This was your 2025 U.S. Open preview. Catch y'all next time.